472-5765. The access code to come in is 608060 #. That's how you do it. Pyramid One Radio.
That's good. That's easy.
We should do something with this.
This is a Pyramid One International Network presentation. Good evening, and welcome to Pyramid One Radio.
Yeah.
Your soul is an energy. Catch it. Nurture it. Love it. This is the now. Believe in the universe and say, I am. Let me tell you a little bit about the guest coming up. Actually the host, actually a friend, actually a mentor. His name is Jamie Clark, a person who is here to help the world. He was born in Ohio. Jamie had early signs in life that he would someday be helping people with his remarkable talents. As a child, he was concerned about being different from others. With that, he was going on in his mind. Through years of studying and a series of profound revelations, Jamie discovered that he had the gift of psychic intuition and could also communicate messages and feelings between people living and those who have left this physical plane of existence. In other words, he can communicate with those who we have loved and lost. Now, with thousands of powerful connections made worldwide and years of experience as his guide, Jamie offers this healing phenomenon to those who need it most. People searching for life, direction, and guidance, as well as those seeking answers and closure from family and friends that have passed. However, you can become fearless. Being in control of your destination has an empowerment. Our mind, ourselves, has the ability to create a future, good or bad, by having a read or attending one of Jamie's sessions. Not only can you understand where you are headed, but you can reprogram your future. And my favorite, to be yours. What's next? I say this all the time on the show. Jamie said it all the time on the show. Something that we believe in. Something that you should believe in. It's called unconditional love. Let me tell you some more. Unconditional love is a behavior and a feeling towards someone. Jamie says he's taught many the techniques of how to take action. Once you achieve unconditional love, your world, your whole world, will change in many, many wonderful ways. May I introduce to you, to the world, to the universe, a friend and a mentor, Mr. Jamie Clark. Oh yeah.
Hey, is it your birthday right around this time?
Yeah, it is.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Oh God,
Yeah.
no, we're not getting any older, we're getting better. Yes.
Oh, that's it. You're refined, like fine wine.
Yeah.
Hey, it's funny. I was just telling Wendy Lynn that I'm always used to seeing you with those headsets on. I'm like,
Hey, really?
Lordy, you look different with ears.
My goodness, I got a head. I got a head.
Very
This,
handsome.
I got a
Yeah,
head
that's
this life.
beautiful.
It's one of those things. Okay, I have to do this though. Everybody that's calling in on a telephone number, this is the telephone number you must call in on. 605-472-5765. Again, 605-472-5765. And the code to come in on is 608060 pound sign. That's how you do it. 608060 pound sign, and you're here. Because Jamie, I've been taking calls. They're coming in one after the other on the wrong number. So it's like I'm going like, hey, yo, over there.
It's beautiful, but they're calling, man. That's awesome.
I know.
Just
Well,
reflecting the new number.
that usually happens, and there's also a chat room, so they don't even have to call. They can get in on the chat room. They can talk to us right through here.
Perfect. Well, it's always great talking with them in person.
Oh yeah.
So, we have a lovely young woman here, Wendy Lynn, and I just want to read a little bit of who she is and what she's about. She is the founder of iEmpowerment LLC and Truth and Dare 501c. She's a certified life coach, Enneagram practitioner, motivational speaker, personality growth expert, which is very interesting, teen empowerment coach, events coordinator, ghostwriter, and book publishing consultant. She's a member of the Arizona Enneagram Association and a certified ICF practitioner, which we'll find out what that is, and the author of The Undivided Self and the Truth and Dare Empowerment Coaching Curriculum for Teens. May I welcome and share Wendy Lynn. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. Hi, everyone.
And we are working together with a number of projects and with her iEmpowerment creation, which is phenomenal. Wendy, what got you started? What experiences in life did you have that drove you in this direction?
Much of my childhood was not pleasant. However, I did have an experience right around 21 years ago today. I had a near-death experience giving birth to my son. And
share what happened?
so it was very interesting. I had both my boys. I had a lot of difficulty. I had no trouble carrying them, but delivery was really difficult for me. And when Dalton, which is my youngest, fell into the birth canal, what he had actually done was he ripped my uterus, my bladder ripped, my intestines ripped. Actually was the quickest C-section ever performed in the state of Louisiana, which is where I'm from. And he came out stillborn, and I died in 6 hours on the table. I died 3 times. They called it 3 times. So it was quite a shift in consciousness for me. Dalton was resuscitated. He's 21 now and healthy, very, very good. And it really changed everything for me, not just a little, but everything.
And what happened during the near death?
So, I'd like to tell you I remember everything about it, but I really don't. What I do remember was enough, though. And I remember remember being in the emergency room, and when I got to the hospital, they didn't have any time to get me medicated. I was physically held down and tied to the table so that they could cut me open and remove the child. But I do remember the clock on the wall to my right was going backwards, and at one point, when I turned my head to the left, blood was dripping from my wrist because they had restrained me so much. I had blood dripping, and I could hear it as if it were, like I could hear the drops like if it was the only thing in the world that existed in the sound industry. The smell was the musk of alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and a lot of, even the smell of blood. It was just so extensive. And I do remember where, at one point, my husband had come in and all of my organs were on the outside of my body, the big ones. And it was just a very, there was a light, and I do remember a little bit of a conversation that kind of looked like, do you want to go back? Kind of thing.
Do you know who it was?
I don't. I don't. I do know that I came back with what I call my truth rod, something that might have been there before, but I just wasn't a very good person before this particular experience. And when I came back, I call it a truth rod because, like, when something resonates, when I hear something now, it resonates as true. Truth expands this energy inside me, and it almost buzzes for me. And if something's not true, I immediately no. And I call it a truth rod because it that's what it does. It tells me if something's true or something's not true. And for the most part, the only other piece of information I came back with that was very different than my previous knowing. I kind of always thought that everybody in the world was diamonds, that, the world was filled with perfect, beautiful diamonds just covered with a little coal, but that I was actually a rock. And I wasn't a diamond. And I guess I thought myself pretty special.
Yeah.
Talk
about laying it all on the table.
Exactly.
Oh!
Right. So I did come back with this new knowing that I am a diamond. So.
But notice you have your own energy read. See, I think that's a big thing, is finding our own way to what feels right or not. And for her, that truth rod is powerful. She knows exactly how it vibes, going, nah, I know it's true, or not a chance. Mm-hmm. And that kind of an ability to read energy is huge, at least in my capacity, because I'm sure, like you've got to be able to understand where people are coming from.
Yeah.
I need to understand the best that I can so I can communicate, not just talk, and talk with them, not just talk to them. So many of us are used to that. Did that refine you in interacting with other people?
It really did, because one of the things, and you said it when you were talking about my credentials, is I am an Enneagram practitioner, and an Enneagram it is a personality test, and to me it's a map of consciousness. And prior to this experience, what changed the most after my near-death experience was my personality. Like, before, I really, I'm from New Orleans, didn't care about anything, just had no quality of life. I didn't really have a very good personality. I wasn't a very good I didn't really care much about anything, especially myself.
Did you feel like you were just existing?
I felt like I was a mistake. I was a problem. I was autopilot, very much autopilot, but just not even comfortable in my own skin. And what changed the most when I came out back was my personality. I became caring. I became that diamond. I began to identify with that diamond. And, everything changed after the experience. In fact, in high school, I wasn't a very good student. And then after my near-death experience, I felt like I wanted to be intelligent. I went to college, graduated college with a 4.0, double majored philosophy and psychology. Everything changed, the way I thought, the way I felt, the way I showed up, most importantly in my personality.
I have a question.
Sure.
And I don't know where that echo's coming from, but
I don't hear it. You sound great over here.
yeah, I know. It must be coming out of the. It's coming out of something.
Voices.
I don't do that. My rod's kind of shaking a little
No,
bit.
don't worry about it, baby. We'll take care of you. No problem. Hey, listen,
Hey.
No, the thing that I mean here is when you came out of the NDE and you started your life and you were going to school and everything else, did you feel one of the things that I felt like the most is that nothing bothered me. Every single thing that came in that I had to take care of or touch or do, it was done. I didn't have to worry about doing anything. I just did it.
So no, it sounds like you got a magic wand and I got a truth rod. So no, I kind of like your magic wand a little bit better, but I'm going to deal with what I've got, which is my tooth rod. No, in fact, it actually got harder for me because having such a unhealthy personality before this experience left me with afterwards always trying to get in alignment, always trying to resolve the past and allow myself to be in that presence of that diamond, of that part of my personality now, or that part of my essence now that I hadn't been in touch with before. So it's been even though much of my childhood was an extreme struggle, this part's actually more of a struggle. It's one of those things, and I know you've heard it too, where people say, it was easier when I didn't know, when I was on autopilot, because that pain was actually doable, where after my near-death experience, my personality shifted from an 8 Enneagram type to a 1 Enneagram type, which is a perfectionist and who really focuses on transformation. They're called the reformers. So with that in mind, is it easier being a perfectionist and a reformer, committed to personal growth and trying to, move in the world now from this perspective than the other one? No, it was a little easier as an 8, who just really didn't care.
But Bob has had his. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say. I mean, when she did her NDE, she was earthbound, in a sense, more than I was. I took an automatic, fast vacation. I was out of here. It was like there was my.
Bob, did you feel?
Well, I was going to say though, it was my green grass, trees, the whole thing, and that before you get to the light thing.
Well, here's the thing. Did you feel movement as you were shifting into this, or did you manifest interdimensional? Do you know?
It was like wiggle your nose and you're there.
Okay. That's why I was curious, because going there, it's all right here, right now. Mm-hmm. But that soul-scape experience is powerful. And, what's interesting is like you seem to be a lot more casual with the things. Did it give you more clarity about life after you had that experience? And with a higher amplified energy, might that have been a contributing factor as to why you wanted more knowledge, why you had that more clarity of the efficiency?
I think so. I think, the clarity is, for me, was that now life had purpose, life had meaning. Before it was meaningless to me. And now I was looking at life as a second chance. I was looking at it as a chance to get things right, and now I had to make something valuable. I had to make it worth it. I had to earn my ticket. The second time around, the first time, it was just kind of given to me. So it has been more emotionally and mentally challenging, but the clarity came. The clarity was that life is meaningful, and you're a part of that. Where before I wasn't a part of it, I was just experiencing it. Now I feel more of the creator. Like you said, I'm authored numerous books. I'm authoring more numerous books at the moment, and as a child I wrote poetry, and but it's the creativeness that I came back with, that intention and the purpose of being present and actually being of value to life, instead of just trying to, from before my near-death experience, I was trying to get from life. That definitely was the biggest shift for me.
So in doing the Enneagram, has that given you any insight to the experience that you had, the near-death experience? Has that given you kind of a bridge of awareness to go, like you're already saying, here's where I was at and my perspective of that, and it wasn't quite as pleasant as it could have been, and then I had this experience which is completely empowering and neutralizing so that you can take it any way you want to.
Right.
And then as you've been doing the Enneagrams, have you gotten any insight about what information you received or the feelings and energy during the NDE? Did that play out? Did you get any indicators, like on the numbers or the questions that you would answer? Or did it not work that way for you?
Well, when I reflect on it now, I kind of see where it might have, because one of the things about the Enneagram is no matter what your type, one of the 9 types you are, what is going to be significantly different is what you value, what triggers you, what motivates you. And when you have a particular thing that you value, when you have a particular type and you have something that triggers you, it kind of tends to always trigger you until you heal that aspect of yourself. So one of the things that I think the NDE did for me was show me how to take what I know now about the Enneagram, because it is without question for me. And again, you're talking into a perfectionist, graduating college, perfect, and whatever I do, I have to master it, I have to do it really well, is that whatever the core value is, whatever my trigger, the only meaning for anything, for time, is growth. It's that ability to grow into our essential self, our nature. And so my near-death experience kind of, got me to look at what aspects of my personality are blocking me from my essential nature, what are blocking me, where before I didn't even believe, like I said, that I had the essential nature. I wasn't the diamond, I was the rock. So it definitely, now that I reflect back on it, does 100% revolve around the healing of the personalities, not the getting rid of them, but the healing the aspects of our personalities that are blocking us from our true essence and our potentials, what it is we're here to do, our purpose, our presence.
So have you had any clients or friends in any way that they did the Enneagram testing and then maybe had a major life experience, an NDE or something else, and then were tested again? Has that ever happened?
And I was thinking about this when I was last weekend. I was at the Arizona Enneagram Association meeting, and someone asked that same exact question. And I don't know that anyone is actually studying that right now, because they say that, your type is almost, they're saying it's science is now showing that it is nature and nurture coming together, that there is an actual nature aspect of our personality as well as a nurture aspect, as well will determine whether we're average, healthy, or unhealthy. Parts comes from our nurture, but the nature, almost as if we knew when we came in what we needed to experience and which personality type would be more likely to get those experiences. Matter of fact, they recently had a workshop where Michael Goldberg was actually showing how Homer in the Odyssey, who we didn't even have the Enneagram at that point, actually each one of the 9 islands specifically shows us a unique Enneagram type in the exact order. What's the chances of that, right?
It's lucky.
Right. And then they even, Winnie the Pooh now, they've done a Winnie the Pooh Enneagram that, each type has, a different Winnie the Pooh character that you could really just look at that character and go, oh, okay, now I understand the energy of that type. Because that's really what it is the energy of the type. And so, as if we came into this world with knowing we needed to experience certain things to heal certain things or grow spiritually, what type would help us do that? And it's so intriguing. So as far as that goes, though, I don't know if anyone's studying near-death experiences and what you are before and after, but I can tell you. I mean, even if you study just a little bit of philosophy, you'll learn about Phineas Gage, who took the railroad nail to the front of frontal cortex, and he came back a completely different person. Like his near-death experience where the nail went in his head and touched his frontal lobe changed his personality completely. They never said it changed his body or it changed his personality. What was important to him, his verbiage, his language, everything changed because of the penetration of the frontal lobe.
See, I think that would be an interesting aspect.
I think so too.
Yeah, and find out those different reactions of what we do and what stimulates us one way or another, whether it's a positive, a negative, or any of those aspects to find our balance the best that we can. Because a lot of us are here and then over here and then here, and it's not so easy to stay balanced the best that we can. No, okay, if I'm balanced, then I know there's two ends of the spectrum. Otherwise, I'm on one, and I think there's only one other end. So within that, have you, because you brought us together, I'm part of her great organization, iEmpowerment.
Yes.
What got you to start that? What is your intent? What do you want to do with this?
With iEmpowerment, so like I said, I moved from New Orleans, and I came out here specifically. I had been coming to conferences out here, and when I got to Arizona, I was looking for a spiritual community. I was looking for people committed to their personal growth, because I'm a type 1, and that's what we do. We're perfectionists who are constantly trying to reform ourselves and reform the world. So I came out here looking for that, for a community. And New Orleans, you tell them what I do, and Enneagram practitioner, like they think you're a witch or a Wiccan or whatever. Which,
yeah.
You can see that, right? So people would ask me, well, is that something with voodoo dolls? No. Yeah, and to be honest, coming to Arizona, people have energy, but cities have energy too. And the city of New Orleans and Louisiana, Hurricane Katrina really kind of damaged the energy for me, and it was just enough damage for me that I knew I had to get out. And Arizona, in the process of coming out here to the events, I'd met so many amazing people that I just instantly believed in. That truth rod said, they know what they're talking about. And then I looked at what I thought wasn't working. And what I thought wasn't working is that you go to these events, you get all motivated, and then you go home and you're like, it's like watching a Rocky movie, right? Yeah, and you get all excited, and then guess what? Life happens. Mm-hmm. And the thing I think has created the most spiritual growth for me is the accountability factors and the consistency of, not just reading a book, but embodying the work. And so when I moved out here, I thought to myself, you know what? I really would like to create something like the Alcoholics Anonymous. What makes something work is the education, the encouragement, and then the accountability factor. That's where empowerment comes in. So I thought to myself, what would I have to do to make that happen? And when I looked out to all of these amazing practitioners who were professional practitioners, they were all kind of like trying to start their own business and kind of crashing, and the word community and camaraderie and collaboration just kept coming to me. You see my C's, that's my perfectionist coming in. So it started coming into, and I realized to myself, that's what's going to make us as a world get better, is when we come together.
Yes.
And it just, when we say, right, I'm an Enneagram practitioner, I'm a life coach, you come to me, I'm gonna see right past your personality to that powerful presence that you have, and I'm gonna love it and bring it out and remind you of it, and that's what I love to do. However, you might have something in a nutritional form that might be blocking you. So that kind of puts a ceiling, a limit on what I'm able to do to support you on growing any further. So I thought to myself, what if, I was able to refer them to someone? What if I thought that they had something that they were holding from a loved one who had passed? Well, you know what? I know someone that can support that growth. And so I started thinking about it, I don't use the word problem, but I saw the possibility was that we're looking at healing people on a one-on-one level. And we're holistic beings. We have mind, we have body, we have spirit. And we should be looking at healing and growth from that perspective of mind, body, and spirit. So I woke up at 3:33 in the morning, and I had this picture of a wheel, and it had mind, body, spirit, and it had like people's faces popping in and out and topics, and I'm like, this is empowerment. That's what's empowerment. So that's why I created I Empowerment. I is I. It's the encompass I am. And empowerment is what comes when you have educated, practicing professionals who are encouraging and empowering other people by being present and there to give them the things that they need to support their growth.
What I was going to say was for her, for our world, she came out with the solution, not the possibility. The solution. The solution is the end rung on the bottom of the ladder. Now there's only one way to go, up. And that's what you're telling everyone. There's only one way to go, and I have the solution. Jamie, someone else, whatever you need, I have it. That's what you're saying, and it's great. I mean, we have people on the phone net over here too, and I'm telling you, you can go tell them because this is good. I'm enjoying.
And so with that, because you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't share it and you don't know how to use it, when you do the presentations, you give them the insight and the knowledge, do you give them tools and techniques in order to manifest more of that?
So, I always have seen when you go to these conferences, they always have this spectrum. You've got your Joe Dispenzas and your Greg Bradens and your great genius minds, and then you got your more applicable and practical, and then you swing over here and you have your self-love, and then the spiritual mediums, but here's the thing: a lot of people want to go on one side or the other, but the bottom line is it's the encompassing aspect of, again, remembering that we are mind, body, and spirit. Because I've never denied, because I've worked with yourself and John Holland and so many amazing people who are very tapped into their intuitive side, who give people peace, who give people all these amazing things that does promote the growth. I've always fallen on the applicable, practical, let's do the tools and techniques, and let's go from here to here. Because for me, the big thing, and it's a book I'm working on right now, is to know and not to do is to not know. And I feel like many of us know a lot, but don't embody that knowledge. And the reason we're not embodying that knowledge is because we don't have the tools and the techniques and the support of people holding us accountable to these things. I mean, personal growth is not easy. Transformation is extraordinarily tough. And be honest, we don't grow alone. We don't heal alone. Mm-mm. And that's what I Empowerment really was all about, is to let people know, one, if you're not growing, you're dying. So let's grow. Let's do this, right? Your phrase, let's do this. And let's do it right. Let's do it with clearly education and empowerment. And, let's do it together with support and accountability. And it is going to require tools and techniques and talent. Some people bring talent, and sometimes that might be all they need to bring to create the shift. But if you're not moving, if you're not shifting, get up. Let's go.
Because shift happens.
Shift happens. It happens faster if you make it happen.
Well, yeah. So let's talk about the book, The Undivided Self.
Yeah.
What did you write? Why?
So that was a result of my near-death experience. It was one... At first, I thought it was in contradiction to the Enneagram, because in the book, The Undivided Self, basically what I'm teaching people about is the psychological term of structural dissociation. We all have it. No one's immune, okay? And structural dissociation is simply, like you said, you hear, you hear, you hear, you hear. Well, that's the swing between personalities. It's the swing between your very victimized, poor me, nothing ever happens to me personality, and your myself, very judgmental, very, strong personality that we think we grow from this to that. But then if that were true, why do we constantly go back and forth from victimhood to empowered to victim to, from negative to positive? Is because we didn't grow. We just have one that's more dominant in any given moment. But then ultimately we have our I. It's not me, myself. It's me, myself, and I. And the I is the essence of our being. It's really the truth of who we are. And so I started in my Truth and Dare program with kids. I started working with the kids around getting them to do this. And it was so funny because even at 14, 15 years old, they got it immediately. They got, so what we would do is I'd have you be the gentleman and I'd be the personality, and you'd break up with me. Break up with me.
I'm done.
Don't leave me, please. So they would play the me personality. Just, please, I'll do anything. Don't leave me. And so the kids were like, yeah, I've been there, done that. Now break up with me again, and I'm going to be the myself personality.
I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, well, I've been cheating on you for 2 years anyway.
Oh, man.
Yes.
So the kids were
I
like,
would have known that.
Oh, yeah.
you would have known that, right? So the kids were like, yeah, I've done that before too. And then break up with me again.
You're amazing, but I got to go in another direction.
I love you. I can't say that this doesn't sadden me, break my heart, but my love for you means that I want you to be happy. And if this doesn't honor you and it doesn't bring out the best in you and it's not what you want, I love you. Wish you all the best in the world. Thank you for everything that you've given me. And I know that this will work out right. And the kids were like, oh my God, that's so hard, Miss Wendy Lynn. But they got it. And so what ended up happening is the teachers would say, oh my gosh, the kids are walking down the hall going, you're me showing, you're myself showing. And it would trigger them to think, what would my I do? Oh, goodness. All right. So what is I? I is love. Loving, oneness-minded, virtuous, and enlightened. So what would that look like? And it caused them to start saying, Miss Wendy Lynn, I showed up in my I when my mom yelled at me. And so I was like, you know what? I got to write a book about this. So I wrote The Undivided Self, helping people to understand you're not crazy, the swinging back and forth. It's normal. It's our humanness and going back and forth. And then our ability to bring our spiritualness to it. So the kids would be like, well, Miss Wendy Lynn, how do I get rid of my me? How do I get rid of my myself? Because my myself is a witch and my me is pathetic. And I'm like, what you're not seeing is you're not seeing the higher end of that part. The me has an amazing heart. She's beautiful. She's kind. She just wants to be loved. And they were like, oh yeah. So they were more open to like sharing that love with that little girl. And then the myself, she's a go-getter. She's smart. She's intelligent. She stands up for herself. There's benefits in all parts of our personality. It really is amazing. The question is how much love, how much of your I, how much of your presence are you actually experiencing in your day-to-day life through their alignment with the personalities, which is where we live.
Must be a high to give them the information and let them empower themselves.
Yeah.
Because to me, nobody needs to be fixed.
No.
Nobody needs to be saved. Just showing that power within, self-realized to begin to live life more than survive it.
Mm-hmm.
And like Wendy Lynn is saying, it's not always easy to go, oh yeah, it's all perfect. No. But for myself, I want a day-to-day outcome of what am I manifesting through meditation or through any of these visuals, because I want the practicality of spirituality. Do you give
That's a book title. I like it. I'm going to write it.
And Friends of Consciousness.
Copyright it quick.
But within this, what other books, because you've got 2 other books in your energy field, what else are you writing about?
So one of the things that I'm writing about right now is parenting, because I can honestly tell you I've messed that up really bad. But I'm working on fixing it. And that comes from my work around the Enneagram, because knowing that my boys are 7s and 5s, I would have loved him differently. I would have raised him, because now you can't know someone's Enneagram type and not know what their triggers are, or not know what their, it's kind of like the love languages on steroids, actually. But you kind of know what their childhood wounds are, you know what they value. You know, my 5 son, you know, I'd want him to be a particular way, or I thought something was wrong. But in truth, his personality is a particular way. And I say this in the Undivided Self, our personalities are perfectly flawed for our own personal growth. So instead of trying to change him now, I'm more open to understanding him. The Enneagram is a compassion compass. And it really, that's another book title. I'll be writing that too. But
I wrote it down already. Don't worry about it.
But, you know, I think parents, we all do the best we can.
Are you using it for parents to become better parents for their children?
Yes, I'm using it for myself, but I'm going to teach the 7 principles of positive parenting, parenting from an Enneagram perspective. Because when you know your child, you stop trying to change them, and you can speak to their childhood messages, and you could try to avoid their triggers and encourage their healthier range of their personality type, which is power, which is presence. And I think it's very important, because to be honest, working with all the kids that I've worked with and all the clients that I've worked with, what kids struggle with is usually their parents' crap. And, you know, I'm not being mean. We're doing the best we can.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Number one to a kid is the parents, because, you know.
Yeah, and if the parent can look at themselves through an Enneagram, their type, and then look at their child as their child's type, then their chances of parenting in a more positive and effective way is going to go up, I'd say 100%. 100%. So that's important to me to teach. So that's why I went and got my Enneagram IEQ typing practitioner certification. I want to, one, help people learn their type so that they can do the inner work, but also because when you do the inner work and you learn your type, you don't learn just your type. I'm a 1. I have a 2 wing, so I need to know about the 2. And then I have integrative lines to the 4 and the 7, so I have to learn about them. So the more you learn about these different types, just like the kids in school, they walk in down the hall and they go, oh, that's her me personality. I walk up to someone and my truth right goes, oh, they're a 3. Be careful with this. Pay attention to that. Speak their language. Know what they value, what they don't value. And I can't not know that information and not love them better and accept them for who they are. And, you know, I don't want to change anyone. I just want to empower them by perhaps letting them see a little bit of what maybe they're not looking at.
I find it interesting that she is talking about numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Holographic universe, shapes, numbers, all of those dynamics. And within the numerology, because I'm very much aware of those, in earlier years I didn't know how much validity there was because I really wasn't into that. But then in later years and seeing how these things are correlating, I'm like,
yeah,
that's very interesting, because a lot of that does seem to have value with that kind of personality, with that type of a circumstance. Have you ever had somebody in a career and then maybe given them the Enneagram test and then they chose a whole different career because of that? What happened?
Absolutely, because here's the thing. When you know your personality, which again, we spend most of our time there, and you know what its talents and values and purpose and triggers are, you know what, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you learn what to eliminate, you know, as far as jobs or so forth. But ultimately, the goal really is, you know, for someone to really experience their presence, they'll find their purpose. And that's what the Enneagram does. It kind of gets people back in touch with what it is they value and what really means something to them. And then their work is going to be, you know, is going to evolve out of that.
And so was it leaving Louisiana? What got you here? Why Phoenix out of all of the 50 states and 205 countries?
You know, like I said, I was coming for events. The Celebrate Your Life conference is out here. They're based in Phoenix and Scottsdale. Unbelievable events. I mean, events with some of the top leading thought and spiritual teachers in the world, and love the events, Hay House events, go to them all the time. And in the process of doing that, because of them being actually based in Scottsdale, I met so many people here, and they were real. They were real people with real passion and real purpose, and they were showing up and they were present. And we didn't think of any other state. We really didn't. And my husband, Gerald, and I, we just packed up and we just came. It was more of a calling.
Take some guts.
At 50 years old, right?
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah, absolutely. We wanted to show our kids by example that if you're in an unhealthy environment, you got to walk your talk.
Yes.
You know, you got to, here I am preaching about truth and love and teaching about, life coaching, making life meaningful. And I was in an environment that didn't support that. And I felt like a hypocrite, which is, it just pierces right through me. So I'm like, can't do that anymore. We're moving. And it was really the only place I've considered.
Did the kids notice a difference?
They did. Both of my boys, one of them was 22 when I left, the other one was 18, and left them in New Orleans. They have to make their own decision. One had just graduated in the film industry from the University of New Orleans, yeah.
Congrats.
And then the other one was in college, so I left them, and they came and visited within the first 6 months. Within 6 months, they both had moved out here and moved in with me, and 6 months later, they got their own place.
Nice.
So yeah.
Oh, very nice. Very, very
And
nice.
so what direction do you want to take empowerment? What is your end game, for the most part?
So for me, I've got to keep learning and keep growing. That's one of the things about the Enneagram. I mean, as smart as I am, this thing the layers just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper. I'll study that into for as long this lifetime and many more, I'm sure. So the Enneagram is going to be like the ideal day for me would be helping someone learn their type, and then spending the rest of the afternoon cooking in the kitchen, hanging out with my husband Gerald, just having a good old time. Mm-hmm.
Can you create your own Enneagram? Like, knowing the knowledge of what the questions are, can you target specifically certain areas or capacities to help them with the personality, or to help them integrate more effectively within a relationship or a friendship?
So, yeah, because the Enneagram is just a tool. In truth, I think it's a map of consciousness. I really think it's a compassion compass. That's just what I call it. But for me, if you're looking at the personality and you're saying, why am I triggered and what do I care? Like when you're really looking at what's important to our personalities, whether it's their thinking, their behaviors, or their emotions, if you're working on that, it doesn't have to be with the Enneagram. The Enneagram exponentially moves you faster. So you can't do work on your personality to help it to become more healthier and not see it in your work, your relationships, your inner voice is going to change. You can't change the inside without every aspect of the outside changing. Every single,
yeah, of course. Now, with this, are you going to expand? Are you going to do like the Celebrate Your Life? Because we have a lot of people with a lot of information that could share. I think we could even rival them.
Yeah.
Hey now, there is no competition in collaboration, right?
I do have a question about this.
It's all a team, but that's the point with the expertise and being able to bring this community together and manifest more of a solid, full community where people back each other, where they actually understand and genuinely are happy the best that we can for other people's successes. I've seen,
yeah, I was going to say, can I ask one question now?
No.
How many people are in the group?
We have 13 affiliates at this point.
Ooh.
And the 13 affiliates have such a wide range of talents and skills. We share the same passions, though. We really do. And one of the key things that were so important in putting this team together is integrity and purpose. And we are in complete alignment with our integrity and our purpose and our passions, but our expertise are very wide. But let me say this, what I find most interesting about this company, and that brings so much joy to the actualization of this dream for me, is that what's coming out of it as a result of the collaboration of the team members. So I'm going to be honest, I always stood on the left side of the pendulum, even working with John Holland as long as I have, and being very good friends with so many of the authors and speakers on both sides of the pendulum. I can honestly tell you that I never thought I'd swing and do a workshop with someone on the other side of the pendulum. And upcoming events. I'm doing an event with Tina Escato, amazing psychic medium and healer.
What's the event?
And the event actually is called Tools for Spiritual Transformation. And I'm bringing tools that come from a little bit more on the left side. I'm bringing the Enneagram and a manifestation tool that I use. It's kind of a secret, but it's kind of like a vision board meets an accountability board kind of thing. So we're doing a workshop where I'm bringing some tools from the mental capacities, and she's bringing some spiritual tools to help create balance in people's lives. Then Michelle Claire and I are doing an event on near-death experiences called Wake Up Calls from Pain to Purpose. Also something I never, like she said, oh, my angel said I'm going to do a workshop with you. I said, you need to call them back. No, you're not. So, what I'm seeing happening, you've got an event coming up this Sunday with Maggie Norton. Yeah. We've got, what's happening is these amazing, passionate, professional practitioners are coming together, and they're experts in their field, but we share things that we didn't realize we'd cross over. I am doing a workshop with the Dulce Zoe. We're going to be doing parenting workshops together.
Dulce Zoe is? What does she do?
She's a hypnotherapist. Also extraordinary, powerful presence of a woman, very intelligent, has so much to offer to the team. And we're doing a workshop called The Power of Permission. Permission to be your authentic self. Permission to, follow your dream. Permission to self-actualize. We're going to give people permission, because most of the time the people who are, not living their lives, the one blocking them is them. So they're capable of giving themselves permission. So what I'm really loving is seeing how this team is actually coming together to create beautiful new events. You said make shift happen. One of the gentlemen, James Patrick, he wears a shirt. He kind of makes shift happen. He's amazing guy. He's intelligent. He's handsome. He's built. He's got nutrition. He's got yoga. He's got everything. He's got a lot to offer. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a full day, maybe even a full weekend event, make shift happen, and we all bring something that will help people shift, and it'll be a shiftful weekend with him. And
that's a bunch of shift.
That's a bunch of shift going to be happening right there, baby. So I'm loving the collaboration, because we're creating new stuff. We're expanding our potentials by collaborating our expertise. So if someone goes to an event and they go into someone's event who does just one thing, there's lots of potential for growth there. But now, what if you're coming to one that does mind, body, and spirit, and you're getting a little taste of him, a little taste of me, a little taste of Dulce Zoe? You're leaving. You might have come because you wanted to see him, but you're going to meet your personality when you're there, because I'm going to introduce you, and you're going to leave that much stronger than you might have had you just come to a single event.
And you're going to like it, boy.
Really, what I see here is, and James is probably gonna say, gonna agree with me. It's like a wave of positive energy, all on the same frequency, all in the same. It's unified. What's this unconditional love, which I write over, and that these kind of things, if you're all together, forget about it. I mean, people are going to walk out with their chin down around their knees somewhere, going, "What the hell just happened?"
But that's the point.
Yeah.
But you
And
see,
we'll be right there with them.
But they will. But they will. I mean, they'll probably have a brochure or net or whatever else net. But they'll keep on calling back. They'll come back to you and say, you know what? Yesterday I felt like, unbelievable, and today I don't know. And that's where a little bit of direction needs to be done. It's like believe in yourself, and you'll never ever feel bad.
Well, and I think that's a big thing because with that knowledge, at least from my perspective, it's not always perfect. But if you can give them some tools and techniques when they're kind of on the down low, just to shift something, even for a few moments, that's a huge dynamic because, we all have our perspectives, but when we can be brought together with all these different tools and techniques and give them to you so that you can walk your own path, not be stuck with your feet tied, but it'll give you strength, fortification, and open receptivity to go in this new direction. Because like I do, it can be a little scary. You're like, I hope it's going to be okay. Is anyone else going through this? Because, man, for them, what do you want your legacy to be?
I don't want to be Peter Pan or anything, but I mean, let's face it, a good thought will rise your frequency.
That's the point. That's why you have the tools and techniques to give that to them so they can do it in a second. Not, let me go meditate for 3 hours and be able to feel on your feet.
Well, and two, also, is, to give them the tools and techniques. Let me tell you, I am pretty well read. But personal growth isn't about reading and knowing the tools, and it's the application. It's the going from here to there. And one of the things iEmpowerment is really doing that is going to support the growth and support the movement is that it's a conscious community of holistic healers who are there all the time. Like this month alone, we have 4 or 5 events. So every week, it may be a different practitioner, but you're going to go because you just really want to be attached to the energy. And I am going to be honest, it's tough to keep up with our energy. There's been a couple people who have wanted to join the team, but, they're still in the thinking phase instead of the let's do this phase and that high energy. And to keep that high energy, we have to keep showing up with new workshops and new presentations and on a regular basis to say, you know what, I don't know what you're dealing with today, but just come hang out with us because we do have an event. And today it might be Leave the Weight Behind with Kim Richardson and Michael Anthony. Next weekend it might be Connections with Heaven with Martha Reed and Jane Siebel and Michelle Clare. And then the week after it's going to be me and Tina. What's in your spiritual toolbox? It's just being there and saying, you know what, this workshop might be about something, but at the end, if you need to talk, we're there for you. And that's what the iEmpowerment team is committed to. That's where our purpose and our passion is that we understand that we have talents and tools and techniques and that we're valuable, but we're also here.
It's a support group.
Huge. You don't always know if other people are into that.
You guys could go on a show like this, and we could target a country and say, listen, all you people in this country, get on here now. We want to talk to you. I mean, he knows. He knows. I can do a whole room. You could have 7 chairs up, and I can have everybody talking.
Let's get a whole new view of humanity.
That's about the size of it. There it is. There it is.
And I think that self-awareness, that self-realization, that I've learned that the more love, attention, energy, and compassion I give myself is no longer narcissism, it's self-realization. And most of us have been brought up with the old paradigm, the old way of thinking, and that's fine. It's very valid for that. But it's the same old information, just in an updated way. That's the point, is I want to give the practicality of spirituality so they can use this on a daily basis. Not, okay, it's going to manifest about 3 years. Is that what I'm going to wait for? No. For me, if I get that day-to-day practicality, I know it's working. And not that it has to be every moment, but I've got my tools and techniques for myself to go, but it's still on, good. Now I'm going to navigate through this way because I know that it's still efficient and effective. And so I feel my way through life now, not try to make my way.
And authenticity is so important with that. I mean, like you said, everybody on the team, we all know the value of walking your talk. I mean, I could sit here and give you, a very long presentation on the Enneagram, help you learn your type, and kind of set a plan out for you. But we kind of, we understand the importance of we're human too. You know, we fall short, and we hold each other accountable a lot of times. Hey, you know, that's not what you teach. You know, and so it's so good to have people that you surround yourself with people who remind you, hey, you're on this personal growth, spiritual evolution path for a reason. Let's get focused on that reason. Let's go from, you know, from ideas to manifestations. Let's go practical. Let's take our spirituality into a practical realm where we create evolution. And you know what? We're not perfect. We're all human. We're all going to make mistakes. But you know what? When you have that person going, yeah, you're out of alignment, get back over here. You know, it really makes, because who wants to be out of alignment? Who wants to be a hypocrite? Who wants to stagnate? None of us want to do that. We all want to thrive and grow, survival of the fittest, whatever you want to call it. It's so much easier when you have someone there with you. So that's what it's all about.
How can the people get a hold of you?
iempowerment.com.
Website?
Yeah, that's www.iempowerment, and that's just the letter I, just I, and the word empowerment.com.
Phone number?
504-421-0567. Email is going to be WendyLynn@iempowerment.com. If you are in the Arizona area, just sign up for an event. Just come hang out with us. Yeah, we're here.
Also, don't forget www.truthanddare.org.
Yeah, that is the
awesome.
empowerment coaching curriculum for teenagers. If you have a teenager, you know a teenager, or if you are a teenager, I can tell you I'm 50 years old and I still struggle with a lot of the exercises in the self-love chapter and the optimism chapter. I've gotten pretty good at the honesty and the generosity and the respect chapters, but you know what, there's always room to grow, and you know, that's a great program. It's great whether, no matter how old you are, but it was designed for kids. You read one page a day, it's going to ask you some coaching questions, and then just go out and live that truth.
I also want to remind everybody, the people that were on the phone that didn't get answered net today, in 2 weeks, Jamie will be back. Call the number. The number's 605-472-5765. The access code is 608060 #. Easily to be done. So
Awesome. Bobby, always good. Ladies and gentlemen, love and light.
don't move. You know, I just want to remind everybody, too, Annette, you know, this will be on the landing page tomorrow. If you missed any part of the show whatsoever, get on there and listen to it. It's also in the archive. Go to the landing page. You go to www.pyramid1network.com. Click on the pyramid, and you will be with us and with them. God bless y'all. Bob Charles.